Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the TF Cast. My name is Willis Stout and I'm one of your hosts today at your favorite arts and culture podcast in Mankato.
Hey, Grum here. It is September 7th, 2022 here in the solarium.
And I'm your host, Jacob Bases. Today with us, we have all three members of the Room Tone podcast. They're here in Mankato, and they have a podcast about making a short film. But that's not enough information, so I'm going to kick it right off to Swain to introduce your co-hosts and tell us what's going on with the podcast.
Thank you. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a cool room, cool people. My name is Austin Swain. I'm here with Maddie Fox and Austin Oropeza of the Room Tone podcast. We're just three friends from college. We all went to school to just kind of learn videography and, to work with cameras and things like that. And we kind of went over the idea of starting a podcast just like about the film industry. And, we just talk. All of our conversations at like when we hang out is just what movie did you see recently and what did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? Let's talk about this for far too long. And so we just kind of wanted to make that into a thing. But one day realized, we need some direction to this. We need some structure. And so the three of us decided that we're going to make a short film. And so that's what this podcast is about. And the idea is just to kind of create a community around the creative process and kind of take people along from the journey. So podcast starts with brainstorm, and we're currently in pre-production writing the script. And so all of those ideas were kind of born right on the show.
So wait, in terms of chicken and the egg, like the movie, the podcast was like Inception for the movie?
Chicken and the egg is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know which one's happening first.
The way I remember it is we were just kind of hanging out, and we've wanted to do a podcast for a hot minute.
Because we think we're hilarious.
Yeah.
we're sure of it.
Yeah.
You've squeezed a chuckle out of me before.
That's all we need is a little chuckle.
Yeah.
That's all that gets our gas going. No, and then we decided that it'd be really interesting to listen to a podcast going through like the creative process, specifically making a short film. And like Austin Swain said, that we're all very big movie fans, movie nerds, and it kind of connected that we would do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So where are we at in the process then, both with the short film and the podcast? Kind of what stage are we at?
Yeah, so episode 32 of the podcast just released. And so it's been a journey for us. The first couple are, the audio is a little like we're not really sure what's going on. And, the very first episode, we still brainstormed the title of the podcast. But we just released episode 32. So like 30 plus hours of content out there. And as far as the short film, we have the storyline set and we have our characters written and we are kind of rough drafting through the script. And so we're about halfway through kind of, fine tuning the kind of dialogue and action of the story itself.
Mm-hmm. And the I guess kind of the body of the podcast is you going through those steps. So if you like I even just seeing like maybe a third of the podcast, I know like what's going on in your story. Can you, for someone who hasn't heard any of the podcasts and just wants to start listening to us, break down the story and like what's happened so far in, brief for the new listeners?
Yeah.
Guys, remember that premise we worked really hard on? Let's bust that bad boy out.
So we wrote a premise on, what was it, Sunday?
I don't know.
The premise of the short film is an estranged family coming together to traditionally honor the memory of their father.
That's as cut and dry as you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to give us just a little bit of an outline of like how the events unfold, or?
Yeah, basically a son comes home for dinner, not expecting to get the news that his father has died, and he didn't know that.
So it's a dark comedy.
Yeah. And the family is just all weird, and they all have a hard time interacting with each other. So it's just kind of a journey for them to like work around how each of their personalities and moving on with the death.
Yeah, and just like I've thought about this a lot too, just like writing, because you start making stuff, like we do a lot of like capturing events, and then sometimes I'll get a little ambitious in my head and be like, ooh, I should like script something. Dial that back. We're 32 episodes in and we're on the premise. What's the workflow like?
Dude, that's literally, I mean, I would say that's kind of the core of why we made a podcast, is to like show as real and accurate of like the creative process as possible. Like last episode, we were gonna like write script and talk about something else, and we got totally distracted and worked on a premise for 4 hours. So it's like, you have no idea how long it's gonna take. We expected to have something like a script done by episode 10, and now it's episode 32, and we've been plugging along this entire time, and there's just, it's very real.
Yeah, 100%.
I will say, when we say we just made up a premise Sunday, it's just like cementing it in stone so we can tell other people. We had an idea of what the premise was, or I mean, of course we had an idea what the premise was. It was just writing it down so we can articulate it to
Get it into
other
words.
people. Yeah.
Like an elevator pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this the first thing that the three of you have worked on together then?
No.
Not even close.
We are very annoyingly in each other's lives.
Yeah. The first project that I ever worked with Swain on was actually for college. It was a competition called Red Eye Film Festival that was hosted by Bethany Lutheran College. I don't know if you guys heard of that. Essentially, we had a week to create and produce a short film that we had to present at Bethany with a variety of schools. It was Bethany, MSU, and South Central.
Yeah.
And that's when I met Swain. We did a superhero film.
Yep. I was the superhero.
He was a superhero. He was our actor, and I guess the friendship just kind of grew then.
Yeah.
From there.
It's true. And we ended up doing a lot of those competitions just kind of with each other and just kind of here and there throughout our college career.
Which is where I met Maddie too. It's funny how both of these guys I met through competition. She was currently dating Swain when Swain and I were doing another competition. And she was brought on board to help us with, we wanted to add like a poetry element to it, and Maddie wrote a few, and we decided to base it off the poem that she wrote, and that's when her and I got close. And so we definitely have a friendship intertwined with with media, I guess.
And we've made multiple
Yeah.
short like things together since.
Yeah, we have on our YouTube channel just like a short playlist of, I think, pretty much most of the short films that we've made either together or separately, that were some of the more proud ones. But yeah, I mean, we've probably made like 5 or 6 short films between the three of us partnering in some sort of a way.
And then like a handful more of other projects that weren't short films, like commercials or various things.
Yep, totally.
And then with the process of this one, do you have sort of separate roles and focus around those roles, or are you sort of figuring it out? I am curious both about the writing process and pre-production, and then also how you plan to shoot it for being the talent, or go for it.
You should answer that.
Well, the three of us have always kind of known where our strong suits are, and it's kind of interesting because there are 3 main parts of, excuse me. You know what, that's a good time. Let's pause for room tone.
Oh, yes.
I guess that'll work.
So then we just splice that sound in whenever we need to fill room space, right?
You reverse it, right? Though
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do. It's use
All
the
right, wait,
inverse
10
audience.
seconds, like they do in the Room Tone podcast, and we learned so good. Ready?
gosh, it's like never heard her not to talk.
Yeah, the real
Sweet
That's
ambient.
probably-
the real
That
treat
we
is
just hear that static.
The longest I've ever shut up for.
that's a success. The real treat is the awkward silence you get.
Yeah.
So roles in the production, where's the strengths of each of the team here, and how are you using them?
It kind of lines up. You know, there are three main parts to a creative production. There's the pre-production where you're coming up with ideas and you're writing and you're planning. There's the production where you're on set and you're solving problems, you're setting up lights, you're making things happen. And then there's the post-production where you bring all that together and edit it, make it into a cohesive piece. And the three of us have always known that we each thrive in each of those. You know, Maddie is a writer and she's very analytical, and so she works in pre-production. Austin is very smart behind the camera. He knows what he's looking for in lights, and he can work with the talent. He's really good in production. And I thrive in the more technical space, and I'm familiar with the softwares a lot, and so I kind of work really well in post-production and editing. But that is to say, I think one of the main goals of us coming together and doing this is to just each kind of tackle all of that together and, be there to lean on each other, but really kind of try to create a brainchild between the three of us as far as when we all come together and combine, what do we create?
I really like listening in the podcast because I also exist in a three-way creative relationship with my podcast hosts.
Hot.
And
Yeah, this is juicy. Let's go.
Where's the clip?
but I like when there's like slight creative disagreements and you can
Yeah.
hear like the
You can feel it too. Trust me.
You should see what we cut out.
but it's deeply entertaining for me because I don't have to participate in it. I can just be like, oh yeah.
We'll keep in a pause every now and again.
Well, moving on.
And it's fun to see what you agree with too. And I've had my own ideas. Like
Yeah.
like someone will say something about this script. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I don't know. It's
I
fun.
think part of it is I heard this somewhere, but I forgot where I heard it. It's being able to separate ego from actually like you feel strongly about something, rather than saying like, oh, I want this thing in the short film, and then someone disagrees with it, rather than trying to fight for it, hearing the other people out, like wanting to like know like why you disagree with it or why I strongly feel for it, and being able to kind of kill our darlings in that way.
All right, so list your biggest disagreements.
Are we ready to like throw down or what?
I feel like our biggest disagreements aren't necessarily with the short film. I feel like our biggest disagreements come from the question of the day when we talk about
That's fair when we just
Oh, yeah.
because I feel like most part we get on the same page and we
I don't know.
understand.
Sometimes you'll say some weird shit about Carol, and I'm like,
That ain't her.
that ain't what she's got going on.
Name me
Sorry.
one thing I said about Carol.
Well, that
One?
she makes her own wine.
Yeah,
I wanted
she
her to
ain't no
be-
fucking winemaker.
She's like a 60-year-old boozer. She does not have the energy.
No, not at all. She has no drive.
I just want her to do some stuff. I want her to be fun.
She doesn't.
Have her own little thing.
Have you even met her?
How long is the movie? This is something I've like regularly wondered because when you were designing your characters, I was like, this sounds like a movie.
That's so funny. Actually, now that you said that, that's the thing I think we disagree with the
length,
most.
the length of the short film is one of
Yeah.
our biggest disagreements thus far.
Although we haven't had like a too formal conversation about the length of the short film, we're just kind of writing as we go, and if we have the cut, we'll have the cut. But I think we all have like different opinions of how long it should be, and I think part of that comes from just how we're all visualizing it very differently. I mean, differently but the same.
Yeah, and every episode we just get more and more on the same page, which works out.
Yeah.
I think we're all
10
basically.
minutes or like
yeah, I think we're
50
all
minutes, or-
visualizing under like 13 minutes.
All right, let's get on it.
There it goes.
You're thinking
Don't get me
about
wrong, that is a big 13. But I just feel like with all the content that we have, and like as we're writing, it just makes me think like, God, this is going to be like a damn near 20 minute, 20, 30, not 30 minute, but
Thank you.
20, 25 minute short film. As where it stands, I will say, like, if we leave everything in, we don't cut anything, we don't do anything. A lot of that also has to do with like post production too, and kind of seeing what fits and what doesn't fit. But as of now, I see it running about 20, 25 minutes.
I was gonna guess 25.
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
That was because when you're talking about like there was like a scene in the garage or they were smoking pot. And like they had,
Oh yeah.
This film has everything.
the characters had like backstories that I was just like, how are these going to be in there, or like how will they be told?
Yeah, we wrote very elaborate backstories. I think that comes from like our Dungeons and Dragons days.
Yeah.
Is it's like the more you know about the character, the more you can like be in their skin, even if no one else ever knows any of that.
You should just release an accompanying manga.
Right, exactly.
All right, that's season 2.
Yeah.
Roomtone writes a manga.
Or a D&D module. I was really loud there, sorry.
Yeah.
Or a D&D module.
True. Hey, this would be an
All
interesting.
takes place in a dining room.
Yeah. The political intrigue.
Yeah, that was definitely part of the creative, like, creating of the characters was like coming up with everything about them so that we know it, but it doesn't matter for the viewer. Like, we just need to know these characters on a deeply personal level.
So that you actually like know their motivations.
Yeah.
Or just know when to write a joke.
I'm not positive if you guys have reached this point in the podcast. I don't remember when we did this, but we actually wrote D&D character sheets for each of these characters.
That's awesome.
We spent 3 full episodes.
3 episodes, I think. We modified it. Yes, because we did each character, or 2 characters per episode.
There are 8 characters.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea. I like that a lot.
Yes, we determined like the class for each of them, and
Strengths, weaknesses.
Yeah.
That would just put like a lot of things to rest, like to just be like, well, you know, if they're like charisma is only so they literally wouldn't be able to do that. Like we've
Right.
agreed
Yeah.
upon a number, like they're not persuasive.
And
Right.
Unless they roll.
yeah, you never know when you're gonna get a nat 20. I mean, that's been one of the biggest ways that we settle a creative disagreement. Is it's like someone says that it should happen this way, someone says that it should happen this way, and it's like, but we know the characters so well. Like, here's what they would do.
Yeah, we know what's going to happen. We might disagree on it, but
Yeah.
there's an answer.
Which is why, I mean, we kind of put ourselves and the audience into an interesting situation. I mean, all of our more recent episodes start with a disclaimer of, you should probably start this podcast from the beginning, because we have 8 characters in our film. For some reason, we decided to make like the most complicated story. But we have 8 characters on a film, and like we meet and get to know them over the course of the show. And it's like, I feel like to be there with us, like that's one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah.
So like what are you each sort of excited about bringing into the next phase? I guess would be the like production part, assuming pre-production clears. Where what are you excited for that next phase each, and to kind of focus on?
So for production, I guess what I'm really excited about is just getting started. The first shot. Once we have the first shot, I feel already that like we have something here. You know, we have something tangible. That's mostly what I think of. I also just like the lighting challenges that we've kind of made for ourselves. We've talked a lot about like the vibe, the style, and it'd be really interesting to see if once we put that together, what we can produce.
I want to know about lighting. Wait, we should pause for an ad break. Is this a good time for that? We should, before we bore people with lighting problems.
This episode is brought to you by the team at Triple Falls. Triple Falls is an independent media and production company, and you can hire us for a project. Just reach out to us at info@triplefalls.org to find out more and let us know what you're thinking. Your support makes these types of productions possible. Now back to the show.
And we're back.
Awesome. Well, hey, tell us about what's going on with the light. I want to. Where are you shooting the thing? Like, what's the actual location? Do you have one? And I when I imagine a movie set, I think of like a big warehouse, and then 3 walls built, and then big skylights on top. And
You guys should shoot it here.
If you have something like that, yeah, we're definitely interested.
this is basically the
I
same.
think this room is our nicest set we have to offer.
We did set this up like a dinner table in honor of y'all.
I do. I love that.
it.
Yeah, I feel like
It's a
we're-
great table.
It really is. I guess so. We haven't found a location yet. We are currently in the script writing process. And I think next we're going to be working on
storyboarding,
Scouting.
location scouting, casting.
storyboard. Did you say storyboarding?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it one more time. Storyboarding.
Perfect. Give me a take 3.
Storyboarding. Stuff like that. So yeah, no, we haven't found a location just yet.
Yeah.
We're hoping to just like get an Airbnb because I feel like that usually works best on like big time sets versus like just getting a warehouse, like a big empty room. Because then you kind of already have that character built in, and you can like search for a house that fits your needs.
Yeah,
so.
since our whole film takes place in one house, it makes sense to find something that's already built.
So this is one day of shooting.
No, God, no.
Probably a weekend.
Yeah,
We'll probably get
weekend.
like a nice Airbnb for a weekend and just get a lot of pizza and caffeine.
Yeah.
And just make it work.
You're
Which
gonna
is
have
kind
to.
of what we're used to.
You're gonna have to convince them you're not shooting a porn.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
Well, we're actually hoping that's a selling point.
What if that sweetens the deal?
Yeah. Or we
shooting
have
a
to
porn
convince
here.
them that we're shooting porn.
Yes.
Maybe they'll
Okay.
give us a discount.
On TikTok, I see people complaining that you can't let them find out you're shooting there. I don't know if that's like a movie thing or just because like a porn thing.
Interesting.
I do that all the time when people ask me like what newspaper you work for. I'm just like OnlyFans.
And you,
Stop asking questions.
Yeah, that's fair.
Since we went on the term, or since we started talking about porn,
Yeah. It's always
What's
with
next?
porn.
It's
with
always-
us.
it's always with porn. It really is.
It is.
can I ask you one of our questions of the day?
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh God, that's the question you're gonna ask.
Yeah, that's the question I'm going to ask. That's the
Yeah.
one we've debated for so long. If you guys were a host at an orgy,
Yep.
who would you have cater?
Who would I have cater?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you serving?
What are you
Are you
serving?
doing finger foods? Are you doing 5 course?
Yeah. What's going on?
Is it just a Sunday bar?
Is it just a Sunday bar?
I think
question.
my immediate reaction is any hors d'oeuvre has to be like one piece, like a grape or a carrot that could be instantly just popped in your mouth.
So you're
so
going
like
super
fast
simple.
and easy.
Yeah,
Just
and-
for a drive-by snacking.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then maybe like something carb based that's not too heavy, like a light pasta salad.
A light okay.
A wise man.
It's like a nice picnic over there.
That sounds nice.
You don't
might
want
be
anything
attending.
too heavy for sure. That's
Yeah.
definitely going to have
That's-
a negative effect.
Yep. That was my thought process
I feel
too.
like phallic objects are also probably a good thing to kind of
The
help
stray
spice
banana and cucumber.
Can't go
Yeah.
wrong.
String cheese.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh.
Absolutely.
they have those very
String
suggestive
cheese
melons
and-
that have like the seeds make a. I don't know what the.
Like a
What
gourd?
like the word for the word phallic for
Phallus, I think.
phallus? Okay,
Yes.
the phallus looking melons.
Definitely those.
Whatever that is, I want it.
As people are entering, it looks like titties, right?
This is awfully phallic looking.
So like Hy-Vee or the co-op then we're talking.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna want something nice, something it's not can't be seedless, because the seeds kind of help make up the compartment that when you cut it in half.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So you would go to Hy-Vee or co-op? Like what would?
Yeah, I'm guessing co-op because Hy-Vee's probably mostly seedless melons.
Oh, I suppose.
Yeah.
He was ready for that. I
He
love
really
it.
was, yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like, "You guys, there's
I
these
actually have a
melons."
list.
Yeah. For the record, I haven't hosted. I'm not speaking from experience, but that's where my mind goes. How about y'all?
I went to a wedding once. And,
Good start.
and
Hell of a wedding.
Do tell.
Best wedding ever.
they had like the most ornate potato bar.
Ooh. You don't think that'd be too heavy?
That'd
You
be
see,
pretty
here's
dense.
the thing:
Too
is
starch.
people are gonna do what they're gonna do,
Right.
and like I normally don't care if that is, as long as you wash your hands.
That's fair.
So
That's not like an excuse not have the optimal food though.
You gotta think of like
Yeah.
the benefit for everybody, because you want people to, you don't want to be the last person done at an orgy.
Hey, it's
you know?
his
Well,
orgy.
yeah.
You're
let's
right. Fine.
hear it
Sure,
out.
this guy's
Look.
got waiting for his hot potato.
I'm just saying, like
that baked potato. Too hot to eat. Take it back in the mix.
when you're catering an orgy, like that's not the type of appetite I would expect people to bring.
Yeah.
So like this is
I'd eat before.
secondary. Yeah. Like I don't think people are gonna show up and be like, "What? Where's the fucking meal?"
Yeah.
You're just not going to the right kind of orgy. You should expect a meal.
That's the main thing I'm there
Jacob's
for.
hosting. Jacob's hosting.
It's like that episode of Seinfeld where he pulls the sandwich out from alongside the bedside table. Oh my god! That's not the vibe of my orgy.
A Seinfeld episode.
People finish, they wash their hands, they hit the potato bar.
Hell yes.
And yeah, that's. I think I would have an over the top potato bar.
You know what? I get
I
it
respect
because
that.
eating potatoes in any form is kind of like just cuddling.
Yeah.
So maybe after
Yeah.
your, vigorousness, you just want a nice inside cuddle.
Yeah.
I respect
get that.
I'll come to your French fry sex party. Hell yeah.
Inside cuddle. I like that.
Yeah.
Willis.
Oh,
And then I want your guys' answers because
Well-
I'm guessing you guys have thought about this more than we
I
have.
was really.
We've put a lot of thought into
I was thinking the finger foods fruit bar. You got some
Finger
fruit.
foods.
Fruits like light fruits,
Yeah.
maybe diced, big old bowl, couple
Yes.
bowls,
Yeah.
couple different types depending on what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Keep it easy, and then I don't know about like. You got to have something with a little bit of substance. So like maybe wraps or something.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
That's-
Just a grab and go.
Pinwheels.
Pinwheels. Yeah, pinwheels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Little Minnesota
yes.
sushi.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
That's
not
where
going
I'd go.
sexual. It's just all efficiency. That's the rule.
Yeah, I think you got to keep everybody like feeling good, and I think sugar in the fruit could be helpful.
Yeah.
Is
That's
my,
true.
my main pitch. Yeah,
It's all about
say-
morale.
I'd say no hors d'oeuvres that you need a toothpick for. I feel like.
Yeah.
That's a good rule.
Dangerous.
Or only hors d'oeuvres that you need a toothpick for.
depends on the party.
Depends on how intense you're getting.
Yeah.
All right, we
Wow,
should
that's
wrap.
a great answer.
It is. Yeah. Well said.
Were there any like overarching winners from the Room Tone podcast discussion?
I think we have yet to agree. We do go into it at length on our show.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
forget
to
the
find
exact
out our
episode.
answers, you have to listen to our podcast.
It is funny because I didn't know which question about porn you were going to ask.
What did we say?
Do we ask a lot of questions?
Oh,
about
yeah.
Definitely.
In like episode 2, you asked if you asked if everyone would shoot pornography.
Right. We do
Yeah.
post. Yeah, we talk a lot about porn and just we're all here for sexual acceptance and positivity. Live your life.
Yeah.
They also pay cinematographers too.
Yes, they do.
Right.
We do post on our Instagram. We posted a lot of our kind of questions of the day, and so if you were curious to our in-depth answers on who we would cater our orgy, it's on our Instagram. And then I don't know, you'll have to do some math as far as where the date is.
Or we could just tell them right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let us know. You got the answer right in your back pocket. Let's hear it.
I don't know the episode number.
I remember saying Arby's roast beefs because they look like pussies. So I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry to taint this podcast.
I said something like Jimmy John's or like Subway, something like those small sandwiches, something that you can kind of
Subway.
like put together yourself. You don't need necessarily to add too much, but if you are hungry, you can. It's light. It's not going to make you feel like gross afterwards.
I feel like if Subway is catering your orgy, though, you have to get the foot like the 5 foot, like
really like one.
the one
yeah.
that everyone partakes in.
See, but like I feel like
Yeah.
that just leads to messy business right there, because you don't know where everyone's hands been.
Messy business.
And that's what we're here
You're
for,
washing
baby.
your hands. What do you mean?
You can have wipes.
That's kind of why I was leaning towards a finger food, because
Yeah.
then it's like, and then maybe a scooped out pasta salad, because I
Yeah.
can I can get to the island, get my food, get out of there, and I didn't touch anyone
To
else's
the
stuff.
island. I love it.
Yeah,
He's already got his room picked out.
I'm imagining like I want to be able to walk by and scoop up on the way to the room if I have to.
Right.
I do want my potato bar to be opulent. Like,
Yes.
I mean, I want it on like a table with a full spread,
Yeah.
and like,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about like real silverware. Like this thing is
Beautiful
like
garnish.
you're wanting to get to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
It's-
classy, very
it's-
sophisticated.
It's not just like a side thing, like, oh yeah, we can get food. It's like, oh yeah, we had the orgy, but did you also have the potato?
Yeah.
It's
Like
like,
when they,
yeah.
you know, like when they show you like the treasure in like an Indiana Jones movie
Oh,
or something
yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Like it should be in the corner like that. Like
Yeah.
It should be the goddamn centerpiece.
Yeah.
It's on the flyer.
oh yeah, they're just like
Meal provided. Dude, now that I'm thinking about it, I think we should have corn dogs.
corn dogs.
Ooh,
at the orgy?
I actually like that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or pronto pups. Because I know there's a
Whatever
lot of
you like.
debate between pronto pups and corn dogs. But
Whatever
we
you
don't
like.
need to
What
get
about
into that.
mini corn dogs? Would you do mini corn dogs?
No, I want ones with the sticks.
Yeah, I'm thinking the less physical things, the better.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
something you
Yeah.
can pop in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but exactly. Some you can just pop in and out and in.
Right. Exactly.
To your heart's
Multi-purpose,
desire.
Yeah.
Swain, let's hear your answer. What was yours?
I have a great answer. I think me and Willis are on the same path here. I'm all about morale. I want people to have a good time.
right.
And so I'm going to have a Sunday bar at my orgy. Some frozen yogurt. And you can make whatever bowl you like. And that comes with fresh fruit for, finger foods, as well as whipped cream, chocolate sauce. You can bring that into the party yourself.
You're gonna get so many people.
You're going to have ants for like weeks.
Yeah,
after
okay.
this.
That's not my house.
I just think about like throwing up. Like I feel like
This is why they make you sign the thing about not filming porn at the Airbnb.
You're gonna get fucking ice cream everywhere.
This is what the Airbnb people are worried about.
why are you bringing kiddie pools in here?
You don't want it on your carpet, do you?
fair.
All right, so we're lighting a short film.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some very interesting lighting scenarios in this project.
I think it's mostly just we kind of established this vibe in the beginning of what we want it to look like, and I think pretty soon here we're going to talk about it again. Now that we're further into the pre-production stage, and I think we all just have like this very appreciation for good lighting and for dramatic lighting, and just something that looks visually nice. I think that's going to rely heavily on location and lighting.
Yeah. One of our biggest influences between the three of us is Edgar Wright, with films like Scott Pilgrim and Hot Fuzz and Baby Driver, these things. And he is just crazy. I mean, he takes over the film, and a lot of the things he does, they don't feel real, but they tell his story. And we've talked about doing a couple things like that. We have our 8 characters, and to introduce each of them, we've talked about doing like this big, the film was kind of born with this idea of like a big lazy Susan in the middle of a table, and they spin through the hors d'oeuvres, and the camera goes and find each of the person, and then as we introduce one of the members of the family, the lazy Susan comes to a stop, and this big spotlight lights them up, and that we've kind of talked, a little bit of those kind of creative directions to pull this and make it a little more stylized, a little more fun.
Wes Anderson is definitely another big influence.
Huge.
Taika Waititi as well, or at least for me.
No, not for me. There's another disagreement.
Before we get too far, I actually did do the research to hear our full discussion on our orgy catering, episode 19, On a Roll,
Oh, there we go.
from the
Okay.
Room Town Podcast.
All right.
Sounds like you decided on sushi. The Lazy Susan thing, you're talking about that, and like I already heard about that in like episode 3.
Yeah,
It was definitely
Is it
like,
one of like the seed ideas for the whole film?
It really was.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I also have to ask. So you've made a number of short films in the past. Is this like an iteration of it where has each one of these taken this much time or put this much effort into it, or is this like are you like taking everything and like doubling up on it?
That one.
Tripling
Usually
up.
yeah. I mean, like we were kind of saying before, like most of the projects that we've worked on have been for like week-long competitions, and a week is all you get. So we kind of wanted to do the exact opposite of that and spend as much time as we needed, just like figuring everything out and trying not to like set a harsh deadline, to just like let it grow as it needs to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've done so many projects where all you have is a week to put it together, and we'd make something that we're proud of, given those restraints, but we've never really like, it never feels like it reaches its full potential, or it's like, oh man, but what if we had so much more time?
It's like the kind of thing you'd want to introduce. Like, this is the short film I made for. Like, you want to like tell someone that like we had a week.
Right.
We had like
exactly.
5 days in total.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, partway through this, we really realized we're having a lot of fun just like being friends, bullshitting, just like taking our time and making sure that these things happen in the right way. And so we've really just kind of taken that step to say, this film is going to happen as it needs to happen. We're just kind of going through these phases as they feel right. And we're just going to have a good time doing it along the way and do what we can to kind of show people what it's like to make it work.
Cool. It seems like the adding a podcast to the mix would, in some ways, challenge or slow things down a bit. But I could imagine it would help on the fun side. So, how's the podcast been? Has that been a fun thing to like add into the mix with your pre-production phase of the short film?
It's definitely added a lot more time. Like we would, if we didn't do the podcast, it would. I mean, we would. We probably would be done by now.
Yeah,
but like, I mean, a podcast is a huge thing, especially when you're trying to do it all on the spot and try to make like huge decisions while you're doing the podcast. Like, you can't really spend too much time outside of the podcast working on things because you want to have people hear it.
Yeah.
So it's like, we're kind of stuck in that podcast time frame for a lot of it.
Yeah. It's definitely made things take longer, but like you said, like it also helps us to focus on just having a good time with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's also a lot of accountability. I wish I could record everything these guys say, because like sometimes we're like, "What did you say?" Like
Right.
a month and a half ago. But also you have a podcast. Like, the movie will be made and it will come out, and then the podcast still exists. What's the podcast gonna do?
I think it's just going to be an addition. In reality, I think they're going to kind of coexist with one another. You can listen to one or you can listen to both, but they just kind of live with each other.
No, I mean after the movie's out.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, there's a couple schools of thought as far as what is the podcast after the film is done, and we're not entirely sure.
There's been talk of maybe doing a second season if we decide we want to make another short film. Then it would be a kind of a cool way to continue that. But otherwise, I mean, I feel like it's kind of, once the film is done, the podcast ends with it, and then it's kind of just this like completed piece. I don't know how much of a continuation it'll have after the film is done.
Right. I mean, there'll definitely be episodes of wrap up, and we're planning to put it towards like film festivals and things like that. So kind of talking through like that piece of the process. But I think when the film is done, season 1 of the podcast is done, and if there's more, I guess that's kind of up to how this process goes.
I got a question kind of about that. Like, for other people who are in the business of creating, I mean, YouTube is the kind of easy platform to step up on. But I mean, obviously you want to get into film, like film festivals or like all these other things, like what does the movie do? Like that's kind of a big question, because if you don't have a YouTube channel with a platform, like you could make the best movie ever and it just, releases to your buds.
Totally.
What?
That's a constant fear.
Yeah, thank you.
Is it something that you're doing for like personal reasons, or is it a resume builder? Like, what is as y'all work in the industry too, so like what does this do for you, and what does it do otherwise? Like, what does it do?
I think one of the things that we've talked about is we want to really build a community of artists to do this one big project. And I guess it's personal. I mean, it's sure, we're going to put it into film festivals and stuff like that whenever if it meets the requirements. But I think overall we wanted to make an art project with each other. We're three really close friends, and we want to do something that we're proud of. So I guess it can do multiple things, and it could do nothing. But we're here to do it either way.
Yeah. I'd definitely say at its core, it's a passion project, but a portfolio builder definitely does not hurt. I mean, to say that, hey, we put together this short film that we're extremely proud of. Also, there's like 100 hours of other produced content outlining every step of it. Like that can look good to somebody.
Yeah,
Sure.
And I think just like if we can teach one person one thing about like either like what not to be afraid of or what to expect when you like want to start doing a huge creative project, like y'all just need to chill. And hopefully if we can like show that in some way, then I feel like that's a mission accomplished too.
Yeah. I feel like one of the main conversations the three of us had before we started doing the show was like we'd be watching something funny or just something that we admired, and we're like, I wonder what it was like to be in the writer's room. Like, I wonder, I just want to like be a fly on the wall for the people who put together this thing that I like. And I guess in some ways we're trying to kind of bring that experience out and say, once you have the final product, you can kind of put those pieces together and see the steps that brought us there.
Do you have a sense how many more episodes it'll take before we got a video to watch?
Oh my God, it's probably going to be like 100.
I imagine.
Because now do you count in terms of like episodes versus like weeks or days or something?
We count. I don't know. Do we even really count it? Like
No.
we.
It's just a part of our life now.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of
Okay.
just like, okay, it's Monday, we're doing room tone stuff, we're working on this. Like honestly, until I see like the episode name on the file, I'm like, oh, we're on episode 32. Wow. Like, because it's just been our lives.
It's just it's just an ongoing project.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but gosh.
Like when the movie's done, you're gonna have like a grieving period.
Oh my God. No.
We're going to have to learn how to deal with death like our characters did.
This movie's our Ronnie.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have any other like big film production goals outside of this current short film, either independently or together? That's kind of the main focus right now.
This is 100% the main focus.
Yeah. Other than probably like freelance work that we do to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. This is our main focus, which is kind of nice. I feel like just being in this headspace for so long really helps bring out the short film and just makes it better every time we come back to it.
In terms of freelance work, though, I suppose like one of the things that I like to do the most is I shoot music videos, and so I have a really fun time doing that. It's been a while, unfortunately, with the pandemic, a lot of people weren't performing and things like that. So, but I find that really exciting. So I hope to grow in that as well.
the last music video sets that he did was actually for a guest that you had here, Lucid Llama.
Yeah, it's true.
I've seen those.
Yeah,
Those are great.
very great productions. Which we all he was the head director on, but we all worked. You could see Maddie's hand in one of the.
It's true. It's true.
Nice.
My pole focus game is crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. What's one underrated piece of film, a kit that you make sure is in your bag or box when you show up to the production? What's one of your favorite little this is a must have for me?
Gels.
Gels.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Maddie's all about the gels.
Yeah. All about adding a pop of color or a frickin' rim light of color. Like, it can go anywhere. It's perfect.
Cool.
God, that's a really good question. I'm trying to think.
I would say a shoulder rig. I can show up with a gimbal and with a tripod and a slider, but almost every shoot I end up wanting to go handheld, and I drink a lot of caffeine, so I'm shaky. So I always end up with something you can pop on your shoulder, and it's got a handle on top, a couple handles on bottom. You can get really flexible shots with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think for me, the must piece of equipment I have has to be a camera. Because it's going to be kind of hard.
Shut the fuck up.
That's so underrated.
Turn off
You said turn off my mic?
Yeah. We're done.
But in reality, though, that's what it is. If you can have a camera and a 50 millimeter lens, you're set. You can make whatever you need to make. It's not going to be the best, but it's going to be something. I guess
Then what body is your
Yeah.
don't leave without it body then?
Well, I'm currently shooting with the Sony A7R II.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the nifty 50.
And the nifty 50. Well, actually, I've been using your 100 millimeter.
Well, that's where that went.
Not Rokinon.
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna say.
Tokina. Yeah.
Yeah, Tokina. That's a great lens.
It's-
100 macro.
Oh yeah, I can tell you how great that lens.
Okay,
is.
that's my new answer. 100 macro lens.
That's fair.
Yeah.
We love our tight shots.
Let's talk about movies a little bit. You talk about movies on your podcast all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, I really enjoyed. I said this beforehand, but I'll say it again. The companion piece to Little Miss Sunshine. I was a total hater going into it. I was like, do I really want to listen to this Mystery Science Theater kind of thing? And then it was fun. It was good.
Thank you.
Do the companion piece, or keep doing that if you finish your thing too, because that was really fun to do.
Okay.
But talk about some of the qualities of films that inspire you as filmmakers. You do a very different thing than we do. We're more on the capture end and stuff. But what is it that you see in movies that sparks your creative vision that makes you want to start two massive creative products at the same time?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Where to begin?
Yeah, no kidding. I would say probably one of the most influential creators right now in terms of movies for me is a director called Jonas Ackerlund, who I believe has only done a couple of movies that I've seen, but did a project called Small Apartments and did a manga adaptation called Polar. And those are the two movies that I really like from him. And he is just really good at just taking a dark, twisted topic and just making it absurdly funny. And so I get really inspired just by taking something so weird and out of the box and just making it enjoyable, making it artistic, making it consumable. Yeah.
What about those? What about those? You said that they're dark or whatever. What are the topics? I want to imagine this a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, Small Apartments was actually one of the big tonal inspirations for our film. It's about this strange. It's about this strange man who lives in this apartment complex, and his landlord ends up dying in his apartment. And this person ends up being like one of the worst criminals to the point where he's like full on just dragging this body across the parking lot just slowly, and nobody around seems to care. And it's basically the story just kind of follows like him trying to dispose of this body and trying to like deal with the aftermath with the cops, and it's all just like this total absurdist dark comedy.
And he's in like tidy whities the whole time.
Oh yes, he never wears pants.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He does wear lederhosen.
He does.
This is true. Yeah, it's Matt Downs. Is that his name?
Matt Lucas.
Matt. Thank you. Cut that out. It's Matt Lucas, who played like Tweedledee and Tweedledum in the new.
He did. Oh
Yeah.
my god! I totally forgot about that.
In like the Alice in Wonderland reboots. So just like this weird bald guy in whitey tighties, worst criminal ever. Watch it.
Like, you mean he's like an ineffective criminal or especially heinous?
No, like bad at it. Like he just like throws a body bag off of a building and like makes a huge sound.
I
and,
totally
like,
misinterpreted that. I thought he was just like horrifically evil.
Just whitey tighties the entire time.
yeah.
I was like, that would be fun.
He's just inept,
Yeah. That's fair.
and it's very enjoyable.
Sure.
That is like a key movie to recommend for like if you want to see what we kind of based our movie off of.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend that. For me, it's anything that can like actually surprise me, because I've got a pretty dark mindset, and I have a lot of expectations for movies to like bring up their game and like show me something that I haven't seen. So if a movie can make me go, oh my goodness, or like just stop and like need to think about it, then it's done its job. But secondarily, I mean, characters are where it's at. I care way more about if the characters are good than if the shooting is good, because you can't have something beautiful without having the characters living there, you know. So.
Any good recent examples for you?
Of good characters or of surprising things?
Yeah, surprising maybe, or good. Yeah,
Ooh.
whatever, just like recent hits.
Marvel Endgame.
No. I mean, an obvious one is like Hereditary. The girl getting her head ripped off in
Spoilers.
Hereditary. Yes, sorry, spoilers for a movie that came out in 2018. Or what did we just watch? I have a list. If you don't
Hereditary
mind.
was the movie that got me into horror. I was
Yeah.
like away
Solid.
from it and for a long time, and then I started just devouring every horror film I could.
Yeah, it's
Horror movies are where it's at.
I've been going through that company. I haven't gotten to Hereditary yet.
I've been watching through A24.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're big A24 advocates here.
Cool. Yeah, so is my friend, and he got me to start watching them.
Dude, we
Yeah,
gotta
heck
watch
yeah.
Hereditary.
Well, I know what happens now.
I haven't seen it.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Actually, that's like not even a spoiler. Yeah.
It's the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be worried about it either way.
Yeah.
I was just
He,
kidding.
he can't remember things that
Yeah,
happened 4 minutes ago.
You're gonna
good.
be shocked,
I got
okay?
the object permanence of like a pretty smart dog.
That's not bad.
Thoroughbreds
Oh
was
my
what I was
God.
thinking of.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2016 maybe. It's got Anya Taylor-Joy and I don't remember her
That
name.
other girl.
Emma from Bates Motel. Anyways, that was another good horror thriller, kind of just weird suspense psychopath story. So I would recommend that.
I actually haven't seen that. What was that about? We'll talk about
I
that
know.
later.
I know you haven't seen it.
I guess for myself, some of the huge influential directors that I kind of follow are these dual directors called the Daniels. They recently made Everything Everywhere All at Once. They previously made Swiss Army Man, a handful of music videos, short films.
They directed the
Yeah.
Turn Down for What music video.
They directed the Turn Down for What music
Hey.
video.
Like that one. Smashing.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And I guess what really why I'm so drawn to them is I feel like they have this innate ability to make you feel like the smallest, biggest piece of shit ever, and that you mean absolutely nothing, and that's okay. And they kind of, just make you okay with that. It's really weird. It's a weird dichotomy. Dichotomy, is that the right word? Yeah. And just like what they do visually and what they do on a budget. Like I think Everything Everywhere All at Once ended up being made for $30 million, which is chump change in comparison to like what blockbuster movies do with budgets.
Especially considering how beautiful it is.
Yeah, over 500 VFX shots with only 5 people doing them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And their VFX like held up.
Yeah,
Wow, interesting.
Majority of it practical.
That makes sense.
I love practical effects.
Yeah.
Oh
That's how
my
you do
god,
it.
yeah. Their motto was less Marvel, more Ghostbusters.
Hell yes.
That's a great motto.
It really is.
Hell yes.
And no, I've really loved what they've done, and I've really loved the stories that they've told, and it's always in an unconventional way. It's never two people feeling sad and learning to love each other. You know, whatever. It's always just a very convoluted way to tell a story, and I love what they do. Highly recommend the
They have
Daniels.
very human characters
Yes.
in absurd situations.
Which I don't know if you guys heard Swiss Army Man.
Yeah, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah,
Yes.
Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano. Another A24 movie. Highly recommend. That's essential. Daniel Radcliffe plays a multi-purpose corpse, I guess, and helps Paul Dano's character come back home from being stranded on an island. And that's the premise of the film. But like
Very quirky.
that sounds nuts. Like what? Like imagine pitching that to any studio.
Right.
But they make you care.
Yeah, exactly. And when you watch it, you're like, God, this is just so good.
Yeah.
And it's just about loving yourself, and it's a fun message. And I don't know, everything they do, they just hits home. Hits home.
That's actually what I don't understand about the film industry is like, so for a while I went on a long like shitty horror movie kick too.
Hell yes.
And then like I'll look up the budget and I'm like, who the fuck funded Piranaconda?
Thank you. Asking the real question.
And yet we can't get funded.
That's right. Like there's a lot of movies now, and I do feel like to talk about what you were talking about being like surprised and like having good characters. Like sometimes I'll start watching a movie and like I'm feeling like the foreshadowing and I'm excited, and then about like 10 minutes later they like reiterate the thing, damn near break the fourth wall, insult the audience, and it's like, what is like just make a second cut for people who are looking at their phone.
Right.
Like they should just do both.
Right.
And like I don't understand how, or like particularly why, since we all watch things over and over again, that this is being done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so much of like the film industry is run by like pencil pushing bigwigs. You know what I mean? Like it's so much of, well, we have to, cater to the lowest common denominator, and we have to put out things that are proven to work. We're all doing reboots and sequels, and
But Sharknado doesn't work. Like
Well,
nobody
actually,
watched
Sharknado is like a cult classic. It's considered like a cult classic.
Piranaconda is probably not.
Yeah.
I
Well,
have
let me
seen
see
twice.
it. Let's first seen it
I've
twice.
seen it twice.
Look at that. Look at that.
That's fair.
I think whoever greenlit Piranaconda was not pushing enough pencils.
I mean, I guess like at the end of the day, like a production company is a business, and they're trying to make money, and they're going the safer route in terms of like just like the blockbuster epics, which I know that's not necessarily what you were going for. That's just, or not necessarily what you were saying, but like just, yeah.
I wish I remember the name of it. So on Tubi, there's all these really bad horror movies. Like, and I don't know how they get. There's one where it's the same movie 4 times over. There's a beach house. I wish I remember the name of it. There's a beach house, and they get terrorized by a shark, and it's raining so hard that the water is raising. They get terrorized by a shark in the water, in the basement, in the kitchen.
Oh my God.
In the second story, and in the attic too.
Yikes.
Because the water is raising so fast. And the script is the same for each part of the shark terrorizing.
No.
No. They literally copied it 3 times over.
Oh my god.
And it's really
You
really
need some good recommendations for
Yeah.
horror movies, I think.
at the time I was hosting a thing at work where I was watching B horror movies.
Oh, yeah?
And like I just had them on, but I was watching them the most intently.
Yeah.
So I do like the good ones a whole lot better, but for that I probably watched 40 or 50 just
Wow.
really big stinkers.
There's some charm though
that's
in like
amazing.
those very corny, very like meh horror films.
Yeah.
There's something to them.
But there are ones that are those are ones that are actually good. Like there are bad horror movies that I think are worth recommending. Actually, if you
Right.
have some, I would love to hear your bad horror recommendations.
Ooh, I
Oh,
bet I've
bad
got
horror.
some.
Yeah.
We don't watch bad movies.
I always really liked Hatchet. Have you guys seen Hatchet? It's like a character who like is a deformed child during Mardi Gras, and like he kills people with a hatchet.
No, I've never heard of
Wow. No.
It's a classic. There's a scene where he, from like a graveyard a mile away, rips off one of the fence posts and just chucks it, and then it's just like a really long shot of like it like traveling a couple times, and then it hits the guy right in the foot.
Oh my
and he's
God.
stuck in place. It's so fun.
Okay, that's great. I'm gonna have to watch that.
I can think of one bad horror movie that I've never discussed with these guys. It's actually from my childhood. I don't know why I was given this as a gift. The movie is called Uncle Sam, I Want You Dead.
Yes.
And
I'm here so far.
yeah, essentially it was about this this kid who is attending his uncle's funeral, his Uncle Sam, who was in the army, who died in combat. But turns out he died from friendly fire because he just loved him some killing. And when he was brought back home, he came back as a zombie during Independence Day and started killing people on the 4th. I remember there was a scene with like a blind kid and like, oh God, what happened? He like fireworks were like lit off on him or something, and like he had like these gnarly burns, and the Uncle Sam zombie character saw that and like empathized with that because he was also like a monster, and he was like, never mind, blind kid, I won't kill you. And just like dips. Yeah, dude, it's nuts. I recommend just looking up a trailer. It was such a weird movie.
Insane.
Yeah, very patriotic.
I'm feeling patriotic already.
I was going to recommend that shitty movie that you just made me watch.
That does not narrow it down.
That's fair. That is unfortunately fair. You know, it's so funny that you said we don't watch bad movies, considering that you easily have the worst taste of movies out of the 3 of us.
It's a defense mechanism because I also have the worst memory.
Spree.
Oh,
Is that what it's
Lord.
called?
Yeah. Yep.
I've seen that.
What did you
Sucked,
think?
Right?
Yeah, it's older, right?
I think it came out last year.
Oh, never
Yeah.
mind. I'm thinking of a different. I'm thinking of like a bad like action thriller comedy that's like a bank heist. What are you guys talking about?
So Spree stars Joe Keery. I don't know why that's the first thing I said, but so that's Steve Harrington from Stranger Things. It's a found footage film, so like a la Blair Witch Project, of a guy who is live streaming he's basically live streaming his life. He's just always like, he's a streamer and he's also a like ride share driver. So he is picking people up like Uber style, and they're always on camera in his car. But nobody watches his show. So he thinks of a way to spice things up, and he begins killing his passengers. And it
sucks.
I heard
But
it
I
was
guess
good.
I would watch it if you're looking for a bad horror movie to watch, because I mean, it's definitely bad.
It's like I felt like it had so much potential. Like to watch Steve Harrington just kill people in like on like a live stream style. I was here for it, and then I don't know, it just fell.
Characters suck.
Yeah,
Characters are the worst.
Everyone who
Everyone
dies
is unlikable.
is easily
I
the worst
like
person
that though,
ever.
because there's a lot of fucking films where they try and make you sympathetic towards people who I can't stand anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I really like movies where they make no real effort to like make me sympathetic towards these douchebags.
Then this
Totally.
is the movie for you, I think. This might be your movie, man.
Right.
Strap in.
But that's also kind of what we're doing. We tried to make all of our characters not likable. Or
true.
just like not
Yeah.
have like super likable qualities. Because what's the point? I don't care if you like them.
Yeah,
You know?
nobody
Yeah.
likes each
Yeah.
other.
Right. Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, we definitely just want to show these characters like flaws. And,
Yeah.
and-
Yeah. Let's just watch bad things happen to assholes.
Yeah.
But laugh along the way.
And they could run an Irish bar in Philadelphia.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Somebody write that down.
Film, full-length movies, or series?
Series.
I've actually been changing my mind a little bit. I feel like a series is the way to go in order to like really tell a story. I don't know. I guess it depends. Some stories don't need a full 10 episodes to get through them. Some can do it in a movie. But as of late, I think I've been really liking like just what television has been producing. I feel like ever since like Breaking Bad back in like 2008, that's when like things just started ramping up. I think Game of Thrones shortly came from that, or not from AMC, but like came after that, and
Sure.
like just budgets and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been really fun.
Yeah, they finally started putting money into TV shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like now we're seeing a little bit of a like I've watched some TV shows recently where I'm like, why wasn't this a movie? Like, why is this now just like they've gotten rid of like the boring fluff episodes a lot, but now I feel like we're watching 8-hour movies a lot.
Oh, totally.
Oh,
We
God,
totally are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And without like unless you're really doing something super character or environment driven, I just feel like it's a huge waste of time. I'm kind of excited for the new Lord of the Rings show just because of how like environment like so far from what I've seen, it's just these like really like kind of long, beautiful shots of the environment, and I feel like that's really kind of in line with what the author would have wanted, even if it's not 100% accurate.
I agree. That's basically what the books are.
Yeah, there's just so much like time spent. I mean, have you seen the first couple episodes?
No, I haven't.
I think that if that's what you like about the books, like you're going to be pleased because that's really what I was feeling going on. There's just some of these like really like long, beautiful shots, and I was
Right
like,
on.
wow, this is awesome.
I didn't have the attention span for it.
Yeah, I
literally-
heard it sucked because it was so boring.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. I just like physically can't. Like I fit like if they literally like cut a couple seconds out of every scene, I think I'd be able to go back and watch it.
Right.
But I wouldn't even do it on purpose. I'd just be looking at my phone all of a sudden and be like, oh man, it's like 20 minutes in.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's tough.
I think one thing that might be happening too is something similar that happened on Nickelodeon, where everyone was like, animated TV sucks. Let's make a channel that we let the writers like take control of the show, and that's why we got crazy shows like SpongeBob and all this stuff. And now that's like I've heard that's Apple TV's kind of MO. They want like writer driven shows. And what happened with Nickelodeon is Cartoon Network saw them giving all these writers shows, and then that's when we started getting things like Regular Show, Adventure Time, all these weird shows. And then I feel like all of animated TV got better again.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
So that might be happening again, especially with people like Apple TV being like, well, let's give some writers a bunch of money, see if they can make a cool show.
Right.
I've
Which I
heard-
feel like is. Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say I feel like that's kind of what Stranger Things did for like series. I think it like reopened that door of people being able to just like let the weird person make their thing, and like people are watching it. So
there's a lot of weirdos out there.
yeah.
Have you guys seen Severance yet on Apple TV?
No.
So I think that's a great example of what I'm talking about. You
Yeah.
can just like really tell like whoever's vision it was had like their hands in all of it.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I would say Ted Lasso is kind of like that too, even though that's not quite as like cinematographic. Is that the word? But yeah, it's just I can kind of feel that like someone has had their hands on this whole project.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
I've not gotten into Apple TV yet, but it's out there.
I've heard an NPR spot about Apple TV. One of their people was on there talking about it, and they're basically trying to huck the thing as a premium subscription service, which is, I mean, those words make me hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need a premium subscription service, but I like the idea of like calling it premium, like, hey, we're going to do a good job.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but I mean,
Right.
there are so many non-premium subscription services. Like, I like the idea of Hulu, but I hate the experience of it, you know, like, and that's been around forever.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like, it's crazy how long it takes me to find something to watch on Netflix, like when
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like loaded with content.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Totally.
You get kind of overwhelmed by how much there is.
And none of it looks good.
No.
Yeah, or you just have like such a like belief that it could be bad. Like, even sometimes, like, I watched one that I thought was like I watched Spiderhead recently.
I haven't heard of that.
It's on Netflix, and I was like, this is gonna suck. It's all right.
Yeah.
Wasn't the worst thing I've seen.
We turned on just the other night. Netflix has this new original show called Bee and Puppy Cat.
Yeah, I love being puppy.
They
Yeah.
put that
Yeah.
from Cartoon Hangover on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
it used to be an
Yeah.
online hosted only series.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Is that why the audio is so
I
bad?
haven't seen it on Netflix.
it's on Netflix now. I thought it said Netflix. I probably misspoke, but yeah, we turned that on the other night.
Yeah, they used to be only hosted online, and I'm pretty sure the person that animates it also did like the voices for a lot of it, and so
Sure.
that's why it's kind of
Right.
But I love it. It's so home. It's like a hug of a show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cute and so trippy,
It
which
really
is like
is.
perfect.
Yeah.
Another one by the Cartoon Hangover.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of
space
superpowers.
kids. Yeah.
Not superpowers. It was like kids in space with like suits. I can't remember what it's
Yeah.
called. But I bet you they're porting that as well.
I couldn't watch it anymore, but that was a fun one.
Yeah.
That
of
description,
that.
kids in suits in space,
Yeah, it
like
was
that
like-
just like,
Yeah.
sounds like 3 different things.
It was like a little more wholesome than Rick and Morty or something.
Yeah.
Oh.
Think like Voltron, if you know what that is, like the
Yeah.
people in the cat robots, but like more like Cartoon Network, like
Yeah.
weird.
Business
Right on.
suits.
What?
Are these business suits in space? Or?
No,
Oh.
like
Oh, like the
power
normal
suits.
suit.
Like
Scuba suits.
Oh, like
Yeah.
Gundam suits.
I really wish it was business suits though.
yeah,
that would be
yeah.
great.
It's
Just
Yeah.
business
but
space
they're in
kids.
space. Yeah, business kids in space.
Well, I assume that in space people wear space suits. It's like it's the uniform.
Well, yeah, but these are like
Otherwise you
so like
die.
you have like a NASA spacesuit, and then you have like a Buzz Lightyear spacesuit. Very different.
Or birthday suit.
Or a birthday suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Applicable in space.
Think like jetpack, lasers.
Okay, yeah.
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 Have you seen Midnight Gospel as another example?
Yeah.
Oh, that's on my list.
I hear it's very good.
I really
yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
one.
it's really good to like put on in the background.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept too.
It's- yeah.
With the, like, how it was-
Yes.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. Like, it's a visual treat because that's another one that's
Yeah.
just like nice and colorful and trippy. Like the animation is really well
Beautiful,
done.
love
What's that
one.
guy's name? I can never
Duncan
remember.
Trussell,
Is that his name? The guy who does that? I was thinking his name was
podcaster.
No, Pendleton Ward.
There we
That's
go.
his style. That is.
Oh, yeah.
The guy
Yeah.
who did like Super Jail, Adventure Time,
Oh,
all
there's
those.
Yeah.
world. Sorry, repeat that name.
Pendleton Ward, I think is his name. But he did,
Pendleton Ward.
Yeah.
Did
he-
Super Jail? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
well, he had his hand in it because that's like his signature animation style is like the noodle arm.
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
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 Duncan Trussell and Pendleton Ward both sound like pastries.
I tried. Like,
I'd eat at that patisserie. Hell yes.
That's probably why they teamed up. They're like,
Right.
Yeah.
we'd be delicious
If
together.
nothing else, we'll make people hungry.
well, we are coming up on an hour and a half here, which I think is going to make you guys our longest, right? Have you guys ever
Oh,
gone
shit.
to-
Sweet.
Oh wow.
longer than
That's like a short podcast for y'all. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We talk way too much.
There was one where it was like 45 minutes in, and you were like, "Well, and today we're going to talk about."
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably coming up. I'm probably going to have some
Space
batteries die. No, space we're good, but I'm probably going to have some batteries die soon. So if you guys want to give both kind of the overall room to hone shout out, but if any of you have anything personal you want to shout out as well, now is your chance. You want to just start off, Austin? Here, go this way.
check out the Room Tone podcast. We're on. Sorry, can you repeat what you?
Yeah.
So sorry.
Not a problem. So yeah, just where's Room Tone?
Yeah.
Where can I find it? How can I interact with you? And does Austin himself have anything he wants to shout out?
Okay. So you can find Room Tone on all major streaming platforms. We're on Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Apple Podcast. Google Podcast. We always get that wrong.
Yep.
And if you'd like to contact us, we have various social medias. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're sort of on TikTok, but don't pay attention to that. And yeah, I guess the only thing I personally would have to say is I hope you enjoy watching Room Tone or listening to Room Tone, and I hope everyone gets some sort of experience from it, whether it's entertainment, whether it's learning about the creative process, or what if it's just background noise.
Yeah,
all we
just
need.
give us a try.
Anything from either of y'all that you want to personally shout out? Is your mom gonna watch this?
She hasn't watched any of our podcasts, so I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Anti shout out to that.
Yeah.
You better not watch this, Mom.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, screw you, Mom.
How funny would it be though if she came up to you and she was like, "I saw you on the Triple Falls podcast."
What the fuck?
We got moms watching this. I've heard.
Well, hi to all the moms.
Yeah, I guess I just want to say hi to all the Triple Falls moms. But yeah,
And catch Room Tone podcast on Wednesdays.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. We post every week, every
That's
Wednesday.
right.
Yeah. So go listen. I like watching. I like the bouncing.
The bouncing, we stopped doing that eventually.
We've heard all about the bouncing.
I love it. I mean, like,
He's like, we got to try and emulate this bouncing effect that they
It's
do.
a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, your camera's dead, Willis. So you said that in the dark.
that one
The
died.
studio cam?
It just turned off.
Oh wow.
It could have.
There's a light back on now.
Oh, it came back. Hello.
Technically, the battery could have died. It is
could've.
plugged in.
All right. Well, goodbye, everyone.
All right.
Thanks for having us,
Thanks
guys.
for having us.
This is a treat.
Guys.